Hey YouTube, I've been thinking a lot about different things going on in the world, and I was thinking about a lot of people talk about shtf, including myself, and I know a lot of people have different views on it. Some people believe that it'll just be one big event, or multiple big events that'll throw a region of the United States into turmoil, or possibly even the whole United States. And there's some people that believe that it'll happen slowly, and I kind of sit right in the middle. With everything going on, there's the debt crisis with the whole Greece debt crisis that had happened, just everything going on. It just shows slowly everything's starting to just get worse and worse in the world. And I also think that something as an economic collapse could happen, or even an EMP weapon. Something drastic as that within a minute or two, your lights could go off, and they could be off for a long time. So I kind of sit right in the middle, and I look around, and I work at a job where I get paid $7.45 an hour. So I don't make a lot of money, and you see the people, the middle class, the upper middle class, we all at some point interact with each other, at some point in the day. Maybe not every day, but we all interact. And how the mainstream media and the government love to take people from different groups and ethnic backgrounds and cultures and pit them against one another. And they've been slowly doing it with lower income people and higher income people. I was just thinking about how I think that in the gap between lower income people and higher income people is growing apart slowly, and it just makes me think about how they already have sort of pitted, I guess we'll just say, poor people against richer people. And I'm not talking millionaires and billionaires, well, I guess you could throw them in the mix as well, but they've already started to slowly pit people, of the lower income against the higher income people, making them feel that poorer people deserve that money that somebody made that, could have gone to school for 4 years or 8 years and earned a degree that they have, and works very hard at their job to make their money. And I'm not saying they're all like that, because they're not, but I noticed poorer people, including myself. I'm not excluded from this, but they've started to hate richer people, better off people than themselves. They've started to grow. There's a hatred growing because of the fact that they're able to pay their bills and not have to worry about money, and just go out and blow money if they want to. And I'll give you an example. My chiropractor and me, we have a special bond. He's also a prepper. I'm a prepper. So we have that connection, and since he's a chiropractor, he makes pretty decent money, which, you know, that's awesome. That's great for him. I'm happy for him because, you know, going to chiropractic school isn't easy. It's expensive, you know, and he works hard, and he worked hard for that money, or that degree, and he works hard at his job, and he cares about his I won't call them customers, patients. He cares about his patients. He knows all of them by name, and you know, if I'm sure if somebody walked in there and just didn't like the guy, you know, maybe there's something about him that they just disliked, you know, seeing that he's a chiropractor, you know, knowing that they make a very good amount of money, starting to hate him, and, you know, when the time, you know, and there's a certain point where that hate grows so much that he feels that he deserves that money, you know, you know, taking the steps to follow him home, or you know, do something horrible to him to get his money, because that person who is, you know, poorer than him feels that they deserve that money. You know, I think that we could very well possibly see instances where someone, a decent, well-off person, is murdered or like beaten up, or, you know, kidnapped because they're well off, and, you know, it could happen in the perpetrator is somebody who is poor and feels like that they deserve the money, and not even necessarily that they go to get that money, but, you know, physically hurting or killing that better off person. What more well off? Better off is, I think, how you would say it. Better off person, because he makes more money and he's able to do things, you know, rather than the guy who's scraping along, barely being able to pay his bills, or maybe not even being able to pay his bills. But just my whole point of this video was to see what you guys think about how, if anyone else has noticed this hatred for people who make significantly more money than another said person who works minimum wage, or, you know, an $8.50 an hour job. I definitely, the more the economy gets worse, in my opinion, there's going to be more instances of poorer people just getting more desperate, and not even necessarily more desperate and going and killing rich people or anything like that, but just being more desperate enough that they don't care, to a point where, not necessarily get as bad as like Ferguson or, you know, Baltimore, but getting bad enough that there's such a high rate of crime that it turns into like a Chicago or a Detroit, and, you know, you have your own little shtf from that, you know. Wow, this video is almost 9 minutes long. Holy crap. But I don't even, I'm just rambling on at this point. But what do you guys think about that? Do you guys see a point where, and not even just in your state or your region or your city or your area or your county, but do you see a point, could you see it growing so much that, you know, the East Coast or the West Coast, or both, or the entire country, becomes so bad, the gap becomes so wide, in that people become so hateful towards other people because of how much money they make, that could cause an SHTF in and of itself, you know, and, you know, it could get so bad that they call martial law into effect, and all this, you know, all that stuff that goes along with it, that could cause an SHTF, you know, before an EMP, or, you know, or something like that. But just let me know what you guys think. I know, I'm sorry I rambled. This video is extremely long. But thanks for watching, and don't forget, without sacrifice there could be no victory.